Hands down, what's the most beautiful place on earth that you've ever been to? What made it so? I have never been outside of Europe. I'm Danish and grew up in the middle class, so we only ever went on small European travels for a week or so every 2 to 3 years. A few years ago my father, stepmom, my 2 sisters and I were in Crete, and my father decided to rent a car and go through a valley up a mountain to this small village that was surrounded by nothing but high hills and mountainsides. The village itself was beautiful in its culture and atmosphere of hospitality, even though there were a few gift shops, which kinda brought a touristy feel to an otherwise peaceful and out-of-reach place. The real beauty was on the way back, when we stopped to take a hike down through a forest. It was the most beautiful walk I have ever been on. We walked on small stone paths laid by mountainside civilization more than 200 years prior, ate figs off a naturally growing fig tree and saw an old abandoned stone house. It was beautiful, and I took some nice pictures of my family to preserve the memories. The only other place I can think of that comes close is probably the old war tracks outside of Rome we walked by, back when I was on my high school study trip. The cobblestones laid on the road by ancient Romans leading to small towns with wine cellars and a whole lot of culture. _Kauai _Kauai edit. I can't spell. Milford Sound in the South Island of New Zealand. Writer Rudyard Kipling once described it as the 8th wonder of the world, and, after visiting it this year, I am in full agreement. For me it would be the Namib Desert. Maybe for most people it would seem a strange choice, but there is this haunting beauty of endless acres of shifting sands and emptiness contrasted against the wide sky. You feel like you are the only person on Earth. And then you begin to notice that it isn't empty. There are signs of life here and there. Hardy and resilient. Traces of animals and insects passing by. Relics of humanity in ruins, abandoned buildings, vehicles, and ones far older, in carvings and designs on the rocks themselves. And then you get to the coast, and this mass of rock and sand crashes against the Atlantic, empty, as far as the eye can see. It's an experience and feeling that is hard to describe in words, but will stick with you always. A close second would be the mountains ranges of the Himalayas, Hindu Kush, Karakoram. Iceland, without a doubt. The waterfalls are stunning, the people are friendly, and the views, oh the views are from different world. Reading these comments about such beautiful places makes me want to travel again. My contribution is Glacier Bay National Park, west of Juneau, Alaska. Majestic views that will take your breath away. I was backpacking in Norway once and made it up to the Lofoten Islands. It's far enough north that you can experience the northern lights or the midnight sun. I got the latter BC. I was there in May. Think light turquoise waters, cotton candy-colored skies, and incredible views anywhere you went. I hiked to the overlook of Rheinbringen, look it up, seriously, at 3 a.m. and watched a storm roll in. IDK man, the whole place looked unreal. The colors, the gnarly, massive, terrifying fjords. Go to Norway y'all. Swiss Alps and specifically the Jungfrau region. I've been there multiple times now and it still gives me goosebumps. The Grand Canyon, at night, looking up at the stars. It appears infinite, and is incredibly humbling. Hands down is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Glacier National Park, Montana, U.S. You drive up into the mountains and then no matter which direction you hike you are surrounded by stunning, snow-capped mountains, even in August, crystal clear lakes, tiny waterfalls coming down the mountains, and wide fields of wildflowers. The entire west coast of Ireland, Wild Atlantic Way, no matter what time of year, it's always stunning. Banff, Canada. Easily heaven on earth. In the realest form. Grandma's house, so much love and warmth. Either the Shenandoah or the Berkshires, both have so many stunning mountain views and although they're 500 miles apart, are similar too. The sandhills of western Nebraska. Rolling hills of grass and absolute peace and solitude. Very few will know this area, which makes all the better. Also, the views are endless because there are so few trees. Delphi, Greece. 10 years later, I can still feel the smell of trees and absolute serenity. Lake District. Just black lakes surrounded by dense, green as fuck forest. It just doesn't look real, looks like Middle Earth. The giant forest in Sequoia National Park. Those trees are breathtaking. The drive up provides some pretty amazing views too. Winter in Quebec. Walked at night through silent streets as the snow fell and came across a church with stained glass window lit up from the inside. Cathedral Cove, New Zealand. It might have just been a cave in the sea. But being there with people who got me. And just being together and enjoying the day. That did it for me. I haven't been to very many places, but once I summited a mountain in Colorado on a camping trip. Getting to the top after 7 miles of hiking felt amazing, and the view was stellar. Big Sur, California. Coming around the bend, car filled with friends blasting music and laughing. All of our mouths dropped at how stunning the cliffs and the ocean looked. It felt like we were on a different planet. When I visited Kyoto a few years back, my friend and I visited the Okochi Sanso Gardens. At a certain point, you can see these lush mountains. My friend and I stood in silence for a few minutes. The view and sounds of nature really made me so emotional. Brigu Lake, near Manali, India. Because I've not traveled much in that place and the way you'll reach there is really nice. Hoh Rainforest in Olympic National Park, Washington. It is a very primordial feeling place. It is one of the few temperate rainforests in the world. Pictures really do it no justice. The whole national park is amazing to explore. It has beautiful mountains, beaches, and the aforementioned rainforests. Maui, all kinds of natural beauty are in the place and surround it. Asterisk humpback whales bigger than the pontoon boat you're in. Asterisk penguins at the hotels. Never seen that one before. Asterisk sea turtles eating peas from your hand while scuba diving. Asterisk helicopter rides seeing waterfalls. Asterisk nice beaches. Whitsundays in Australia. Most intense blue sea I've ever seen and beautiful underwater nature. Zion National Park. The grotto in Tobermory on, and Cypress Lake in general. The water was so clear that it looked blue, the way water looks in scenic photos of Cuba or other tropical places. When you look at photos of Cypress Lake, the water for real is that color. I think it's because the beach and ground around the lake has a rock-gravel composition, so maybe it filters out the sediment and makes it so clean? I don't know. In any case, the cave itself is this beautiful chamber of rock that's been carved out of the cliff at the edge of the water. Basically a huge stone chamber that you can swim into and is pretty deep. Only drawback of course was that there were a lot of people there when we went. It was the last weekend it would be open before the winter. Nearly the entire Pacific Northwest coastline. It's ethereal. The beaches are mythical. Scotland, specifically Pitlochry and its surrounding area. Lake, forests, hiking, hills, mossy, it's like vacationing in a fairy tale. Galapagos Islands. Just stunning water, wildlife, different ecozones. Once in a lifetime trip that I'd love to do again. ETA, Stanley, Idaho is also gorgeous. Small town, great view of the mountains, and rafting on the Middle Fork. A+. Banff National Park. If I have to nail it down, Moraine Lake. We arrived just as the mist was starting to lift. We hiked up to top of Sentinel Pass. Probably my favorite day of travel ever. The next day, doing Lake Louise up to the tea house, then onto the Beehive probably would have made top spot had we not been to Moraine Lake the previous day. Jamaica is breathtaking, Amsterdam is lovely, but tilde mile 4 of 7 Mike Beach Grand Cayman is heaven. Sedona, as driftless area in America is just so underappreciated. It has like everything in America on a smaller or larger scale in one place. What made it so? No glaciers. Banff, Lake Moraine. Because it does look like the pictures. You would think it's photoshopped to make the colors more vibrant, but no. The place does look like that. The Alps, something about it just makes me feel good. Positano, Italy. Sailed down the Amalfi Coast on a wee boat with my wife, that alone was stunning. But you turn a corner and Positano is there, a beautifully colorful village town on a huge hill. Also had the best gelato I have ever tasted in whole life. ITT, asterisk everybody hitting the save button to fantasize over post-COVID escaping asterisk. Driving through Wyoming heading to Jackson Hole, going through the reservation and nature reserve, with the Teton Mountains as a backdrop as the sunset behind them. It was a majestic sight out of a fairy tale. Zermatt, Switzerland. Woke up the first day to a shepherd taking his sheep through town with the Matterhorn in the distance. Honestly, everywhere I've ever been with my wife. I could go to a landfill with her, and it would be beautiful. Lake Tahoe in California, Nevada. Stunning lake, beautiful mountains and scenery. Awesome during all 4 seasons.